Welcome to the Real Joe Show. On this episode, I'm excited to introduce you to Jay Sutton. He's a real estate agent in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. He is a team leader. Congratulations, he's a new member of the REALTOR Association board. And we're going to learn about how he got into his team and why he is part of the association and what he gets out of that. So welcome, Jay.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to talking with you. It's a real pleasure. I appreciate you using your platform to talk with me, learn about my business, my team, and my journey becoming a board member at the association. So I'm looking forward to it. So I'm ready to go.
Okay. Right, and I appreciate you coming on. These episodes are all about real estate and agents and what they can learn from each other. There are no secrets in this business. And and I know in our pre-interview you were saying you're an open book. So let's dig in. You've been an agent since 2006.
Yes.
How did that happen? How'd you get there?
Yeah, that's a funny story, but I'll try to keep all of my stories short and sweet. But I had a retail background. I worked 12 years in a retail store at Verizon. I was in management. I was in sales, and I had one young son at the time who was in the process of going to high school. And I tried some investing, some good, some bad. But what was really important to me was having the ability to not pick up the phone and go to work if I didn't want to, because I wanted to go to my son's basketball game or I wanted to go to one of his band's competitions. And quite honestly, I was just tired of being told no, you couldn't get time off the schedule to go do things with your family. So one year in 2006 is when I got licensed, but 1 year in 2011, I had enough of being told no. So I walked out and, on Memorial weekend, I never forget, I said, hey, I just want you to know I can work this shift or I can go home now, but today is my last day.
Wow.
And I haven't looked back since. What I realized in that moment, now that I've been in the business now almost 16 plus years, I am probably mentally incapable to go punch a clock ever again. So,
yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
To a point, though. Let's sit on this for a second. Let's dig into it. So one of the things that I hear a lot when agents want to get into this business is they want the freedom to be able to do what they want when they want to do it. And you've been in this long enough right now to really honestly look back at that and how much control do you have on your calendar? And you could be the exception.
I have control of my calendar now.
Yes.
More so than I did when I first got into business. And I won't name my real estate instructors' names and I say names because it took me more than once to get my license, but that's a whole nother story. Doesn't matter how long it takes, just matters that you finish. I think I was fed a dream. You can make all of this great money and you can have all the time you want. And well, that's all fine and true. You can have all the time you want, but if you take all the time you want, there's probably not going to be any money for you to make. So you have to pick and choose which one. Until you learn how to run your business as a business, I don't think your calendar belongs to you, in my opinion.
There's absolutely a learning curve where you're chasing the whims and wishes of not chasing, but you're making sure you're handling the whims and wishes of the clients to be, correct? When you're first in there?
That is correct. I think when I first got into business, when the phone rang or when the email dinged, it was like, come on, let's go. And I think that was just a testament of me trying to have excitement of being able to work with someone, especially when I didn't have anyone to work with. So just about anybody was a client until you learn better. There's an old saying, when you know better, you do better. So it took me a while for me to learn and then do more than what I should have been doing. So
yeah, it is a learning curve. Did you have a coach in the beginning or were you just trying to figure it out on your own?
No, I was trying to figure it out on my own. I did have, with the first firm that I started with, there was like a sales manager who kind of assisted us. And in so many ways, I would say she was a coach, but there was not an official coach that I had hired. And, which probably one of the things, if I look back as a thing of improvement, I would have spent less money on my website and more money on a real estate coach.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a great point. That's one of the things I've probably said this on the show before. Two things I would suggest every new agent do pretty much right from the beginning, once they really get to roll and get some experience under the belt, is to get a coach and get a transaction coordinator, and don't do paperwork, and get somebody to help you guide your way, because no one succeeds alone.
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing you mentioned, you couldn't go back and punch a clock. So you're successful. You must now have a regimen, a way of doing your business to be successful. How do you structure your days?
That's a great question. So I typically start my day 5:30 in the morning. It involves me actually reading 5 pages of a book. I try to read at least two books first thing in the morning. It's typically either something spiritual and something either financial or leadership. And right now I'm doing leadership, and there's a leadership book that I'm reading and a financial book that I'm reading currently. But first thing when I wake up, I'm going to read 5 pages in those books, because that gets my mind going. After I have my tea, of course, and take a quick walk to get my old bones going. Then there's the sanitary stuff that I'll spare you with, but I go through that process, right? And typically,
you go to the barber every day too, right?
Yeah, right. So typically about 7:30 after I drop my daughter off to school. She's in high school now, but I take pride when she doesn't want to drive herself. I'll drop her off at school, and then I head to the office.
Nice.
And my day will typically start in the office, where I would typically respond to whatever emails that I missed the previous night after 8 o'clock, because I try to shut my business down at 8 p.m. every night. I respond to those, and then I hop right onto the phone calls. I'm not a huge cold caller in terms of in starting my day. My day mostly refers to kind of like the 5-5-5 method. I'm going to text 5 people. I'm probably going to message 5 people, and then I'm going to call 5 people.
Okay.
And that's usually care calls within my sphere of influence and my past clients.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Let me go back. What leadership book are you reading right now?
Right now, I am reading. Oh man, you put me right on the spot.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's all right.
No, you're right on the spot.
We'll see you later on. You can shout it out.
You put me right on the spot.
Drop it in the comments, and
I'll do that. I'll do that. I was all prepared for these other questions, and you got me.
Yeah, a book you look at every day, you can't remember the cover. It happens to me all the time.
Yep.
Sure. So that's a strong morning. Do you block that time? Are you really solid on not letting clients, customers come in and interfere with that?
No.
Okay.
This is me being transparent. Ideally, my calendar is blocked for those items. However, there are times where I will remove something on the calendar, but I only give my permission to remove something on my calendar if I replace it later.
Good.
So if there's something that I don't get done in the morning, in the afternoon, if I don't have appointments scheduled for my morning phone calls and messages, then I go back to the items that were missed. And that could be follow-ups, that could be paperwork, that it could be a number of things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that successful? I'm being transparent too. I find that I'm not that successful at that. I too block my mornings, and once in a while, I have to have an appointment or something comes up, and I try to move my time to later in the afternoon.
Right.
This gets ugly. It just
yeah. I think life happens if you allow it to happen. There's things that are uncontrollable, and I'm a huge family first person, whether it's myself or anyone that's on my team, and I will drop everything as it relates to my business if it involves something to do with my family, my extended family, or my team's family for that matter, because that's just the environment that we want to have. Now we don't make our clients suffer. We're very transparent with that, but I don't say that it's a difficult thing for us to do. I just believe that if there's something that comes up in our calendar and we can't get something done, we have the grace and the flexibility to move it as long as it gets done.
Yeah, good. You mentioned your team. Let's jump into that. How long
Sure.
were you a solo agent before you started your team?
I was a solo agent up until about, let's see, we're at 2023. 2016 was when I first started my team.
And what brought that on? Why did you decide, hey, now's the right time? I need X.
So I am a go personality type. You probably would relate that as a D or direct personality.
Sure.
Paperwork is not my huge strength. And what I found was I would work with these clients, buyers and sellers, investors, etc., and I would have this paperwork that would just pile up, and it wouldn't get done typically until it was time for the closing, or it would be done in the wee hours of the morning, late at night,
Right.
because I wouldn't call it anxiety, but it was just a laziness, if you will. I just did not want to touch the paper because I could do it. I just didn't want to do it.
Yep. I'd say it's a waste. It's a cost. It costs you time. It costs you time from your family.
It does cost me time that I could do something else. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, in having a conversation with, at that time, my sales manager and broker in charge, I was like, I have to do something different. And they said, well, yeah, because your paperwork needs some work. Maybe you should consider, talking with someone on a transactional basis to do some of your paperwork for you. So I did, and it was, I never forget, it was somebody that was looking for work that was recommended to me. She was on another team at the time, and the person that had trained her, I admired the person that trained her, so I knew she knew what she was doing. And I said, well, I need help, and this is what it looks like. You're free to make whatever system you want because I don't know what systems I need, and I will pay you X to do so. And that's what she did. She created, for the most part, what she learned from the person that trained her on the other team. She just brought it over to ours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And so how did you, that's a big step.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure eventually you right now, I'm sure you're reaping the benefits of making that change. In the beginning, what were some of the struggles, some of the hardships you had to go through to get everything in place?
I think the biggest struggle that I had was not asking the questions that I didn't know I was supposed to ask, or not setting the proper expectations of what I expected to be done. I just made the assumption that everyone that I brought in was going to know what they needed to do, and I wouldn't have to spend time with them. So I think that was a failure on my part as a leader, because I didn't cast the vision that needed to be casted, and I didn't inspect what I expect, and we hear that a lot. So there was a learning curve for me, which caused, I wouldn't say it caused strain between our relationship, but it was walking on eggshells because everyone was trying to figure out what the other person was thinking. And then one day it was just like, well, we need to talk. And she was like, well, you're absolutely right. We need to talk. And, we kind of figured it out.
And by figuring it out and not asking the right questions, how did you get to that? Did you bring in, what resources did you use to figure out what you actually needed to get done? Or was it just you just going through the way you do business, the way you've done business, and systematizing it?
Yeah, I think what it all boiled down to was I was expecting someone who I gave permission to create their own systems and use what I've always done in the past, which was whatever steps and tasks that I created for myself. I was expecting them to already know what that was, and that just solely wasn't the case.
Right.
And it wasn't to the point where I found myself, I guess, getting some of that job back that I was trying to give to somebody else. And it was my fault because as a leader, I didn't set the proper expectations of this is what I expect to be done. So I take ownership on that. That finger all points towards me.
That's leadership. That's good leadership. So let's try. That's a big word. People toss around the word leadership, easily, and it comes with a lot of responsibility, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. One of the things that when I interview people to bring in on our team, one of the things that I tell them is I'm not just hiring you, I'm also hiring your family.
Right.
So I take a lot of pride in doing that, because when I bring someone in my family, in my professional family, it's my responsibility, I think, to take care of them to the best of my ability. That also means that I need to put my arms around their family also, because we're in this together, whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time. And I do pride myself on that.
Great. Yeah, I'm in the middle of rereading a book. What is it? Leadership is Not for Cowards by Mike Staver. I'll post that on this as well when I'm done.
Okay.
And it really is insightful to how much responsibility as a leader, how much there is. The responsibility is huge, and communication, being open, and the way you just demonstrated and discussed the way you handled your admin, your transaction coordinator, and going back and fixing things and keeping it open, giving her the power to create it, and then you putting in your input onto how you want it done. That's good. You didn't let it blow up, which is important.
No.
So it's a lot. You do have the responsibility for not just that person. It's great that you see that it goes beyond just the person sitting in front of you or working for you.
Yep.
Where did you find the criteria when you were hiring? How did you decide who's going to fit it with you?
Yeah, so what I looked for was someone who had a very high personality type for attention to detail.
So the opposite of you?
Somebody extremely opposite of me. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted someone that had attention to detail and wasn't afraid to ask questions.
Right. Good.
And that's a very tough find, because when you look at that from a personality standpoint, looking at the DISC spectrum, that is someone that is a C that also has some I. And I was looking for something that was non-traditional because they were going to be talking to clients. So I wanted someone that didn't have a dry voice or a dry personality type, but I also wanted someone to be able to say, why are we doing it this way, Jay? Why aren't we doing it this way, or why can't we do it this way?
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So do you go through the desk with every applicant?
Yes. Every applicant gets at least the disc, and we use Tony Robbins for that. But now any future people that we hire, we also use the Keller Williams version of the KPA.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So now, so that was your first hire.
Mm-hmm.
And once you got that role and all that up and running, what was the difference in your business?
We ended up doubling our business. We ended up going from at the time we started out, we were doing 10 transactions a year, and that changed up to 20 transactions. So we doubled our business just by adding the transaction coordinator, and we were consistently doing that year after year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And now, where are you now with your team?
As of right now, our team has made some adjustments. And I think the pandemic was no different for us than other organizations out there. Our now transaction coordinator has been promoted, if you will. She's no longer the transaction coordinator, but she's now in production, which is a huge growth pattern for her. And we also have one additional showing agent. She's a showing agent and more like an executive assistant. It's my wife. She's doing a little bit of everything now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the makeup of our team. So it's 3 licensed agents total.
And your wife, your executive assistant, she does transactions as well as transactions.
She is right now, because she is new to the business. She is dealing mostly with our listings.
Okay.
She's doing marketing for our listings as well as the listing management part of it, making sure everything gets entered in MLS, etc.
And how has your business grown since you got your former assistant into production, and now you have your wife on the team?
As of right now, that our production is still the same. Well, we've actually taken a 20% drop, but our forecast is gonna make up that 20% for our first quarter of this year. So I think we're in a good place. I think we needed to take a step or two back in order for us to move forward, and
Yeah.
the adjustments are working out. As far as our transaction coordinator, we don't have anyone specifically on our team. We contract that portion of that business out now.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Let's look at your life and your work life. And work balance doesn't make sense. I don't like using that. But the amount of time you're spending at work and the amount of time you're spending at home or doing what you want to do, what's that like now compared to when you were a single agent?
Man, that's a great question. I would say that I probably spend more time in the business than I do on my business, which is a good thing for me, because before I spent more time on the business, making adjustments, making changes, and studying, etc. Now I'm not focusing as much on that anymore as I am the actual production, because I don't have to spend time training other people. They're at a position now where they can kind of go on their own, and I can just check in. Personally, I, we can always do more. I made a post. I made a post the other day on Facebook, and it relates more so to the fact that just because you go to sleep doesn't mean that you rested. And we need to spend more time out of our day-to-day life to rest more than we do other stuff. I could be better at that, right? I don't take as many vacations as I probably should. And yet when I don't want to work, I'm at a position in my life when I can choose not to work. So, but if you let my family tell it, and I'm saying it out loud for everyone to hear, I probably could use more vacation. So I guess if you all see me on the street, we'll just say, Jay, when's your next vacation? And that'll help me get back in check.
You should be having that. Did you already start working on your 2024 business plan?
My business plan for 2024 is done.
Well, it isn't. If your vacations are not booked already for next year, you're not done.
So
the first thing you want to do.
That you're absolutely correct, and I do have 2 vacations scheduled. 2. I have 2 personal vacations scheduled and then there's 2 business vacations scheduled.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so
Good boy.
4. I got 4.
Good job. Good
Not a
job.
lot, but I got 4.
That's pretty good. A lot of people don't even do that. So it's smart you have that down on your calendar up front. And did you already spend some money on it?
That I have not done. So one of the things that I learned in doing business planning this year just passed was to create a bank account, was to have a separate bank account created where I can align some of my funds from my income to go into what I call an entertainment or vacation account.
Okay.
That way I can pay for those trips in advance. So when it's time for those trips to happen, I'm not worried about that expense anymore.
Yeah,
So I did do that. I did
off.
create that account. Yes, I did create that account, and I am starting to funnel, but I haven't paid for anything.
Right.
Well, maybe that's not true. I paid for family reunion, if that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a fun one out in Vegas, right?
Yes, it will, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of it.
So is the whole team going?
Right as of right now, two out of the 3 of us are going. I'm still working on that 3rd person.
Okay. Well, you need someone home to do the work.
Yeah.
To cover your business. So let's jump into, we mentioned in the opening, again, congratulations on being voted onto the board of realtors for the association, Raleigh REALTOR Association. What started that? Why did you get involved?
Well, thank you for that. And first of all, let me just say thank you to your office for the love and support that you all showed, because I was at one of your events and I said, hey, I should be able to go up here and make an announcement that I'm running for a board. I didn't really want to do that, but you guys made it available for me. So thank you for doing that. The reason why I wanted to do it and what that journey looks like. So I am a graduate of the class of 2019 Triangle Realtors Leadership Academy.
Okay.
So that's the leadership academy that our association runs, and it takes us through 11 to 12 modules of just different leadership and team building exercises. And the idea is for them to create future leaders of the association. And one of the speeches that I made, I said, hey, I just want y'all to know, I'm in the Leadership Academy today, but I'm going to be your association president tomorrow. And that's where it started. I said it as a joke to try to get the room to laugh. And in reality, what they did is they looked around and said, yeah, right. So I was like, well, I can be president and I'm going to show you. So what I ended up doing is when I graduated from there, when I graduated from that academy, I ran for a board of directors position then. Now, even though I have a degree in political science, I don't consider myself a political person. I wasn't going to get out there and start campaigning and going office to office. And sure enough, because I didn't do that, I didn't win. And I was a little disappointed. So I waited a couple of years and just decided to volunteer my time and my effort and resources with various committees at the association. So as I got to learn people and meet people, I understood that one, it's a popularity contest, but 2, how you show up, in these meetings is how people recognize you, and eventually, if that's how they vote for you. Our voter turnout is traditionally low, so it's usually the people that volunteer their time at the association. Those are the ones that vote, and that's how people get voted in.
Right.
So I wanted to, and I'm sorry, just to make sure I answered your question.
Sure.
I wanted to be nosy, if you will. I wanted to learn what was going on at the association, where my money was going, and what the true value was. So I figured the best way I could do that was to get involved, and that's why I did that.
And how has it paid? Has it paid you back? How has it paid you back?
How has it paid me back? Well, for one, I understand where my dollars are being spent with the association. I understand the true value of what I'm investing in and what they do for me, to make sure that I'm able to to be competitive in this market, number one, but also know that they are talking with our legislative folks as well as fighting for homeowners' rights. And I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel as though it's helped your business, hurt your business?
Well, I can't say it's hurt or helped because I don't officially start till January.
Well, I mean, you're involved in up until now. I mean, you've been involved already on different committees, which is a lot more than the majority of agents, because I know many feel it's not worth their time.
Well, yeah. So I'm not looking for it as an opportunity to increase my business per se. I'm looking at it as an opportunity of I want to give back what was given to me, which was an opportunity to serve. I'm all about serving, and that volunteering for the association would be no different than someone volunteering for their church, for someone volunteering their time to teach a financial literacy course. The benefit is how a person feels when they give back, and it makes me feel good to know that I can serve on our government's policies committee, to know that I can work with different legislators to make sure that they're on the same board that we're on in terms of being realtor champions for our citizens in the area.
Now, would you say when you're out talking to potential clients, friends, family, the knowledge that you've gained from being involved, talking to legislators, understanding what matters, that must come across in your presentations and your conversations. Your knowledge has grown.
It doesn't. I don't think it comes up in terms of me telling someone, what I'm doing. I think it only comes up when they take the time and look at my resume that I provide to them in advance. There might be questions about that, and then I can share. But unfortunately, I'm not doing it I don't think I'm doing it just to add something to my resume for them to say, look at me.
No, I get that. And I understand that. And I appreciate that. And that's typically why people do get involved, because they do want to give back. There is added benefit when you have this knowledge, because you're talking to legislators, and you're involved with the people that are making economic decisions around the region. You have a lot more knowledge about that stuff than others, your competitors. So whether or not you intentionally say, hey, I'm on the board, or I've been involved, I know this, you just know it. And you probably don't realize it. And I'm just surmising that it's coming across when you're talking to somebody. It may not be completely tangible, yet it adds another layer to your professionalism.
Right. Okay. That's fair. And I appreciate that. I guess maybe I never thought of it that way, because I don't know, I just try to be, genuinely me. And
well, yeah, you're in it, so you don't realize it.
Yep.
Right. You're doing it. Now I'm looking at it from the outside, having been involved in the past and looking back at what I learned, what I gained from it, and how I just made a part of who I was and what I spoke about. Hindsight's great, because now I can see it did add value to being a realtor, to being someone that's knowledgeable in the community and the market, and you're bringing that to your clients, whether you know it or not. It's good for you.
Right. And I can tell you, probably once I get fully immersed, when I get sworn in January at our centennial event, if we have this conversation next year this time, I probably could say, oh, the things that I enjoyed, maybe the things that I've gained from it, I probably could better answer that. Now, as far as the volunteer work on the committees, I enjoy it when they have those public events, for sure, because I could see the people that show up, and they're grateful for us doing what we do. But I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't say I'm being humble. Maybe I'm just being a little modest about it right now. And you may be right. Maybe I am talking about it.
Yeah, modesty's okay. That's good. So what's next? We know the presidency's coming up at some point in the future. What else has happened?
I don't know. We'll see after these 2 years. It's a 2-year term, so we'll see how I enjoy it. But I am looking forward to helping improve the association the best way I can, as well as upholding the brand. I'm very passionate and purposeful about protecting the brand, whether it's my brand, whether it's the office that I'm affiliated with brand, or the association that I'm involved with. I think that's very important to who we are.
Absolutely.
But outside of that, I want to take things slow. If it leads to that direction, then I know the office that I'm going to call, because they're going to be 100% behind me like they were this time around. So
you got it.
But outside of that, I would love to continue building our team, going to the next level. I think there's some opportunities for growth, and we're definitely looking into that, along with some different programs or different business opportunities that we can offer our clients. So from that standpoint, I think the future is going to be looking very bright for Sutton Realty Group, for sure.
Good. Well, I look forward to watching you grow and staying friends and getting to hopefully one day personally meet you, because I was out when you were here in the office for that program. So I look forward to meeting you in person. And thanks for coming on the show. Any last comments or statements you'd like to say? Maybe something we didn't cover.
Well, I'll just say that I'm happy to come to your office anytime. I don't want to step on any toes, but I am a market center tech trainer, so I do teach tech classes through various market centers in the area. But I'm happy to come teach at your office. I enjoy giving back. I don't expect anything in return, because I think there's plenty of room for all of us.
Absolutely.
And with that, just thank you for giving me this opportunity to kind of tell my story a little bit, and hope I didn't embarrass my family too much, which I don't think.
Jay, it was great having you on. Appreciate it. And we'll definitely see you out there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have fun.